Hello, welcome to yet another session of engineering mechanics. In this series, we have been doing the chapter of moments of inertia or moment of inertia. Earlier in this series, we have completed the chapters of principles of mechanics and force systems, resultant of forces in that chapter, and we have seen beams and supports in the second chapter, and in the third chapter we have dealt with centroids. Now we have moved to the chapter of moment of inertia. This is the second session in the series of moment of inertia. So now let us start the session with a quick recap of the concepts which we have studied in the earlier class. That is, we have defined moment of inertia as the second moment of area, that is area into distance square. But actually this concept has emerged from the rotational motion of a body which has some mass. So that mass into distance square we have found out to be the actual moment of inertia with respect to mass. Because for a rotational body we need some torque to stop it, to change its inertia. Therefore we have derived a formula that I is equal to torque by rate of change of momentum, or torque by rate of change of angular velocity is equal to some constant I. That I we called it as moment of inertia. Therefore we have seen that the moment of inertia with respect to masses is I is equal to kg into meter square. But since we are dealing with plane areas, we have reduced the mass into a simple area. Therefore we got moment of inertia is equal to area into distance square. Therefore the units of moment of inertia are the linear units to the power of 4, that is mm to the power of 4 or meters to the power of 4 or inch to the power of 4, depending upon the system you are following. And also we have seen that moment of inertia is a concept of about the concentration of mass in a figure. That is, here in plane analysis we see that the concentration or location of the mass, the areas, defines the moment of inertia. That is, it is a major factor which influences the moment of inertia. Therefore we are interested in finding out the moment of inertia so that our beams, columns and etc. in structural engineering or in other mechanical and aerodynamics or any other engineering, we want to find out the effect of masses at a distance when they are rotating. Similarly here we want to see the effect of areas about some axis. That effect in a rotational motion, if we assume, that effect is calculated with respect to some axis, generally the centroidal axis. We can say moment of inertia about centroidal axis Ixx is equal to sigma by square into dy in case of a rectangular, that is area into distance square. We have taken several strips of area b into dy, and we have found out the moment of inertia of that strip is by into bdy into y square. Bdy is area into distance square is y square. So bdy into y square or b into y square dy. If we integrate all such strips about the centroidal axis, so the limits of integration will be 0 to d by 2 at the top and 0 to d by 2 at the bottom. You can say minus d by 2 and plus d by 2. Therefore, if we integrate with respect to y square, that is integral of b into y square dy, we will get b into y cube by 3. If we replace d by 2, the different integral d by 2 in place of y, we will get bd cube by 12. Similarly, if we take in the other direction, we will get db cube by 12 in case of a rectangle. Therefore, the centroid of at the center of the rectangle, the moments of inertia are bd cube by 12 and db cube by 12. These are the moments of inertia about x-axis and also the y-axis. We have to remember that these are with respect to some definite axis, that is the centroidal axis. Along the axis, the x-axis along the centroid and y-axis along the centroid. So we are taking the, suppose that area is rotating about y-axis, x-axis, that effect we get by multiplying area into distance square, or it is bd cube by 12, and in y direction it will be db cube by 12. We have seen some other concept called as polar moment of inertia, that is the moment of inertia in the direction perpendicular to the plane which we are considering. We are considering the plane of x and y, so we are getting ixx and iyy. Similarly, if we want moment of inertia about a perpendicular plane izz, sometimes they call it as capital J is equal to ixx plus iyy. We have proved it because r, that distance is equal to distance of point from the origin is r. R is in the third direction, therefore it will be, r will be equal to x square plus y square. Therefore, the polar moment of inertia will be sigma a r square, that is sigma dA into r square, that is sigma dA into x square plus y square, that is sigma dA x square plus sigma dA y square. Therefore, the integral will become integration of dA x square plus integration of dA y square, that will give you ixx and iyy. Therefore, we can conclude that izz is equal to ixx plus iyy, or j is equal to ixx plus iyy. That is the moment of inertia about the perpendicular axis to the plane is equal to the moments of inertia along x axis and y axis. So, since we know the formula for finding out the moment of inertia of a rectangle, that is of length b and depth d, we will use them to solve some problems. That is, let us take a small example of a square. There is a square of 30 mm into 30 mm size. Therefore, the centroid lies, we know the centroidal distance is at 15 and 15. That is the centroidal axis. So, if we find out the moment of inertia, that is ixx is b is 30, d is 30. So, ixx is bd cube by 12, which we could get about the centroidal axis at a distance of 15 from the base. That is why B is 30 into B cube, 30 cube by 12. So we will get 3 into 3 cube, that is 81. 81 followed by 4000, 4 zeros. 81 followed by 4 zeros divided by 12. We will get 67,500 mm to the power of 4. You might have remember that the units of moment of inertia are mm4 because it is area into distance square. Area is mm square, distance square is also mm into mm. Therefore, we have got mm square into mm, that is mm square into mm square, that is mm to the power of 4. Therefore, the units are mm to the power of 4. Similarly, if we take in y direction, then Iy is equal to db cube by 12. D is 30 and b cube is also 30 cube. Therefore, it will be 81,000 by 81 followed by 4,000, that is 8 lakhs 10,000 by 12, that is 67,500 mm to the power of 4. These are Ixx and Iyy. If we want to find the Izz or J, that is the polar moment of inertia, simply we will add Ixx and Iyy. Therefore, J is equal to Ixx plus Iyy, that is 67,500 plus 67,500, it will come up to 135,000. So therefore, the polar moment of inertia is also 1. When moment of inertia about x-axis is 67,500, about y-axis because it is symmetrical 67,500, but J is the third direction, that is Izz. Izz is equal to Ixx plus Iyy. Therefore, it is 67,500 plus 67,500, that is 135,000 mm to the power of 4. Similarly, we can take the example of another example, that is a rectangle. A rectangle of base 30 and a height of 60. Therefore, here the base is B is equal to 30 and D is equal to 60. In the earlier case, this moment of inertia we got is about the centroidal axis. Ixx is about this centroidal axis and Iyy is about this centroidal axis, that is the axis along the centroid. Now we will move to at another example, that is for the square. Now we have taken a rectangle of 30 into 60. That is the width is 30 and height is 60. Therefore, now B is 30 and D is 60. Therefore, Ixx, that is moment of inertia about the x-axis along the centroid, is BD cube by 12. Where B is 30, D is 60 cube, B cube is 60 cube by 12. So we get 648 followed by 4 zeros by 12, that is 540,000. Iyy is db cube by 12. That is D is 60 and B is 30 now. So 60 into 30 cube by 12 is 135,000. So here if we observe, Iyy is 4 times the Ixx is 4 times of the Iyy, because the ratio of B and D are 1:2. The moment of inertia has changed by 4 times. That is because the D and B are in the ratio of 1:2. When it is D cube, it is 60 cube. When it is B cube, it is 30 cube. Therefore, the ratio is changed to very significantly. Therefore, if you want to find the polar moment of inertia, simply we add Ixx and Iyy. Therefore, 540,000 plus 5,500, that is Just a moment. $135,000. So 135,000 plus 15, 540,000 will give you 675, 500, 675, 00, 675,000. IXX plus IYY is 675,000 mm3. Now let us change the direction of the thus rectangle. Earlier we have taken B is equal to 30. Instead, now let us try with changing the orientation. That is, the orientation is changed by 90 degrees. That is, the length became breadth became length, or B is equal to D or D is equal to B. Now in the second case, now B is 60, D is 30. So if we find out, automatically BD cube become DB cube. In the first case, if it is BD cube, now it is become DB cube in the second case. So now it will be 60 into 30 cube by 12, 135,000. Here it is 648, 30 into 60 cube by 12, so 54,000. Simply by changing the orientation, nothing happened, only the IXX and IYY has changed. So the values will be similar to that of first case, but now instead of IXX we got IYY, instead of IYY we got IXX. So here we got the values 135,000 and 540,000. In the earlier case, it was 540,000 and 135,000. So it is an example to show that by changing the orientation of a rectangle, we get the moment of inertia is not entirely changed, only their axis will be changed. Therefore, IXX will become IYY and IYY become IXX. So the values will be same. So it doesn't affect the overall moments of inertia. Only the directions will be changing, the values will be same. Next we have seen the concept of radius of gyration. That is, if we assume that the entire area is concentrated along one strip of area of entire area A, then the distance K will produce a moment of area AK square. Therefore, if the moment of inertia of the entire area is I, then this AK square will be equal to I. Therefore, K is equal to root I by A. That we have seen. Suppose the moment of inertia of an area is I. Second moment of area of the concentrated area. If we suppose that area is concentrated, then the distance which gives the same moment of area is called the radius of gyration. So this radius of gyration is K. Therefore, we can say the concentrated area into K square is equal to moment of inertia of that area. Therefore, K is equal to root I by A. this k, this moment of the radius of gyration can be along the x direction or along the y direction. Therefore, we can say kxx is root ixx by a and kyy is root iyy by a. So once we know the moment of inertia, we know the area, we can find the radius of gyration or two radii of gyration along x-axis and y-axis, that is kxx and kyy. For the same example which we had taken earlier, that is 30 by 60 rectangle, we want to find the radius of gyration along x direction and along the y direction. So now if we see kxx is root ixx by a, kyy is root iyy by a. Since b is 30, d is 60, area is 1800 mm square. Therefore ixx we got 540,000 earlier. Similarly iyy we got 135,000. Therefore kxx is root I by a, that is root of 540,000 by 1800. We get 17.32 mm and radius of gyration along y axis is root I by y by a, that is 135,000 by 1800, we will get 8.66 mm. Here the radius of gyration along y is 8.66 and radius of gyration along x is 17.32 mm. If we take an example of x is a square, then root kxx is root ixx by a, kyy is root iyy by a. Therefore ixx is equal to bd cube by 12, that is 81,000 by 12. And similarly kyy is 65,000 by 1800, that is 8.66 and 8.66 we will get. Now we will go to the theorems of moment of inertia. That is, there are two important theorems in this moment of inertia. That is, when we want to shift the moment of inertia to some other axis, that is for a parallel axis we have the parallel axis theorem, for a perpendicular axis we have perpendicular axis theorem. So before, at the outset we will start with the parallel axis theorem. Sometimes it is necessary to find the moments of inertia about another axis parallel to an axis about which the moment of inertia is moved. So let us suppose we know the ixx, that is about the centroid. Suppose we want to find the moment of inertia at some other axis which is parallel to that x-axis at a distance of d. For that, the moment of the the parallel axis theorem says that the moment of inertia of a lamina about any axis parallel in the plane of the lamina is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia of that lamina about the centroidal axis parallel to the given axis and the product of the area and the square of the perpendicular distance between two axes. Therefore, the statement says that the moment of inertia of a lamina about any axis parallel to the x-axis or y-axis at a distance d, let us suppose, is equal to the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis plus area of the new axis, area of the plane into the distance square of the new axis from the centroidal axis. That is, here if you see the figure, here now consider the n area of B into D. Suppose if we want to shift the moment of inertia from centroidal axis to some new axis, let us say CC. That is, CC is at a distance of h from the centroidal axis. So we want to find the moment of inertia about CC axis, which is at a distance of h from the x-axis, that is centroidal axis. So now, according to the parallel axis theorem, that is, it says that the moment about the new axis CC is equal to the moment of inertia about the x-axis at the centroid plus area into that distance square between the centroidal axis and the new axis. So the distance between centroidal axis and new axis is h, the area is a. So therefore an additional moment of inertia of ah square will be added to the moment of inertia we got from at the centroid. So we can say ICC, that is this new axis, moment of inertia at this new axis is equal to moment of inertia at the original centroidal axis plus area of the figure into the distance between those two axes, that is h. That is why we get ICC is equal to IXX plus AH square. Because we know moment of inertia, the concept of moment of inertia is AD square. I is equal to AD square. So this IXX we got that through the summation of the strips. So finally we got the summation of strips about the centroidal axis, that is the IXX. It is also AD square, and now the new moment of inertia is AH square. So it is nothing but here AH square is also a moment of inertia, IXX is also a moment of inertia. Therefore we can add these two moments of inertia to get a new moment of inertia at some other distance x. That is why here we are according to our formula, it is ICC, that is the moment of inertia about mu axis is equal to moment of inertia about centroidal axis plus area into distance between two axes. Let us see, let us find the moment of inertia of a rectangle about its base. So we know Ixx about the centroidal axis in x direction, we know it is BD cube by 12. Now we want to find the moment of inertia at the base. That means the distance between the centroidal axis, centroid axis and this base is d by 2. So hence we are finding the moment of inertia at a distance of d by 2 from the centroid, that is at the base. Therefore the area will be b into d. This h, the distance between the two axes, is d by 2 because the centroid lies at this distance of d by 2 from the base. Therefore that distance is d by 2. According to our formula, ICC is equal to moment of inertia about the centroid axis, that is Ixx, plus area into this distance square. Therefore ICC is equal to Ixx plus AH square. Now Ixx we know it is BD cube by 12, and similarly area is B into D, H is half of this distance, that is d by 2. Therefore the moment of inertia will be equal to BD cube by 12 plus this is d square by 4 will be the square. So BD into d square by 4 is BD cube by 4. So by LCM we get it is BD cube by 12 or 4 BD square cube by 12, that is BD cube by 12 plus 3 BD cube by 12, that is 4 BD cube by 12 will be equal to BD cube by 3. So now if we observe that initially the centroid the moment of inertia was BD cube by 12. Now it is BD cube by 3. That is simply by finding, let us say, by shifting the moment of inertia from center to the base, it has increased by 4 folds, that is 4 times. So moment of inertia at any axis will be always greater than the moment of inertia we found at centroid, because there is some additional moment of inertia of AD square. As we move away from the centroidal axis, the moment of inertia will be increasing exponentially, that is it will be increasing by the square of the distance, the area into distance square. So area being constant, the moment of inertia will be increasing with the square of the distance. As we go farther and farther, the moment of inertia will be increasing in the ratio of squares. Similarly, if we take some other axis as DD, that is along the y-axis, the base, let us the side of the rectangle, if we consider that is as some DD, let us suppose the axis DD, then the moment of inertia about DD will be Iyy plus A into distance square by distance square, that is B by 2 square. So in that case, here it will be dB cube by 12 plus dB into B by 2 whole cube, that is it will be dB cube by 3. Same, that is initially it was the centroidal moment was Ixx is equal to BD cube by 12, Iyy is dB cube by 12. Therefore centroidal moment of inertia about the base will be equal to BD cube by 12. Similarly on the other direction it will be dB cube by 3. Let us take this example, that is let us take the example of a rectangle. of base 30 and height 60 at its base. Now, what should we know to find the moment of inertia of a rectangle? We know B and D, but if we want to shift it to some base, we have to know area and also the distance between the two axes. Here, the area is 30 into 60, 1800, and from centroidal axis we are shifting to base, that is from 60 by 2 to 0, that is 30. We are shifting by 30 mm. The distance between the centroid axis and the base is 30 mm. Therefore, the h will be equal to 30. Ix is BDQ by 12. ICC, that is about the base, about any axis CC. We are not saying it is ICC is about the base. We are saying at any axis parallel to x-axis, parallel to the x-axis along the centroid. So from that centroid axis, that is x-axis direction, to the distance of h, any h may be any variable, but in this case we are taking at the base, so it is h is d by 2, that is 60 by 2, that is 30. Therefore, Ixx is BDQ by 12, that is 30 into 60 by 12, we got 540,000. And similarly, area is 1800 and h by 2 or d by 2 square, h square. H is nothing but our d by 2 square, then it is 30 square. 1800 into 30 square, that is 162 followed by 4 zeros. Here it is 54 divided followed by 4 zeros. So total will be 216 followed by 4 zeros. So 21,60,000 will be the total moment of area at the base. If we see, this moment of inertia at the base is higher than this moment of inertia at the centroid along the x-axis. So Ix along the base is, if we look at this, it is almost 4 times, not almost 4, it is 4 times greater. That is an additional moment of inertia of 3 times has come into picture. That is, initially the moment of inertia was 54, now it is 162 followed by 4 zeros. So the ratio will be 1:3. So 3 times it has increased. So overall there is an increase of 4 folds. So if we observe, the moment of inertia at the base is 3 times greater than the moment of inertia at the centroid. So at the centroid it is 4 times. It has increased by 3 times. So ICC is 4 times the Ixx, that is 54 is ICC, 216 is ICC, and Ixx is 54. So it is 4 times, that is there is a additional 3 Ixx, or 3 times the Ixx is there. Similarly, suppose if we want to take at another axis which is at a distance of at another 30 from the centroid. That is, let us say it is at a distance of 60. Then d will be equal to 60. Moment of inertia for centroid will be same. That is 540,000 and 1800 into 16 square. Then it will become 702. That is, ICC will be equal to 14 times IXX. That is 702 divided by 13 times. So there is a change of 13. That is, initially for d by 2 it is 14 IXX. If it is d, it has increased to 13 times. That is, d has changed twice. So it is d cube. D cube has changed 9 times because it is square of the distance. So d has become now increased 3 times. That is, d by 2 to the ratio is increased by 9 folds. That is, distance is double. So it is d by 2 has become d. So d square has become 4 times. Similarly, there is another d also here. It is also doubled. So it is multiplied by cubic times. So in this way, we can see the moment of inertia. As we go farther and farther, it will increase abnormally. That is, here at a distance of d by 2 it is 4 times, at a distance of d it is 13 times. If we take at a distance of 2d, it will be 2d to the 2d square. That is 4 into d square, 4 into 60 square. So that is how the area being constant, as the distance increases, there will be an increase of this additional moment will be, there will be an increase of 4 times. That is, if we double the distance, it will increase by 4 times. So with this, let us have a quick recap about today's class. We have seen how to find the moments of inertia of a sphere, a rectangle, and also we have found out the radii of gyration. That is, k is equal to root I by a. Therefore, kxx is root ixx by a, and ky by b is root I by y by a. Similarly, we have used the parallel axis theorem to find the moment of inertia about any axis which is parallel to the centroid axis. Therefore, we have seen an example by shifting the moment of inertia about a centroid to the base of a rectangle. So we have derived a formula for finding the moment of inertia about any rectangle, that is ICC is equal to IXX plus AH square. Therefore, ICC is equal to BD cube by 12 plus BD into D by 2 whole square. We got that as BD cube by 3. Directly we can have the moment of inertia at base by using the formula BD cube by 3. At the centroid it will be BD cube by 12. At the base it will be BD cube by 3. Similarly, if we take the other direction, it is dB cube by 12, and at the base it will be dB cube by 3. Suppose if we take at any other axis other than base, then we have to multiply the area with that distance. That is, initially the moment of inertia of the given plane area about the centroid axis plus area of that plane area into distance of the axis from the centroidal axis. So we have seen as the distance increases, the moment of inertia increases. As the distance increases, the second component AH square increases in proportion to the square of the distance. Therefore, the initial AX square, IXX plus there will be additional moment of inertia of AH square, where that moment of inertia is dependent on the square of the distance. Therefore, as the distance is double, we will get 4 times the area, that is 4 times the moment, the second component of the ICC, that is AH square. So with this, let me conclude this session, and we will meet in the next session with some more problems, and we will also deal the topic of the concept of parallel axis, that is the theorem called as perpendicular axis theorem. We have done the parallel axis theorem, which states that the moment of inertia about new axis which is parallel to the centroid axis equal to the moment of inertia about the centroid axis plus area into the distance between those two axes. Similarly, perpendicular axis is nothing but it says that the moment of inertia about the perpendicular axis is equal to the moment of inertia about the x-axis and moment of inertia about the y-axis, that we have seen earlier, that is J. It is nothing but your J is IXX plus IY. The same thing here also, the perpendicular axis is same as earlier, that is for finding J we have used the perpendicular axis without knowing it. Now the perpendicular axis is stating that the moment of inertia about the third perpendicular axis is equal to the moment of inertia about the axis in the plane. Some of the moments of inertia about the two axes in that plane, that is IZZ is equal to IXX plus IYY. That we will be dealing in the next class, and we will find out some more moments of inertias and radii of gyration. Then after the radii of gyration, we will go for yet another, that is shifting the moment of inertia to some other axis. So such problems we will be doing. Such problems we will come across when we do the composite figures, that is if there are several components, then the shifting of axis from one centroid to the another axis will come into picture. There we will see the application of these concepts in those problems. Have a nice day. Till then, have a good day. Bye.